Hey everybody, welcome back to the next Stay at Home Science. I'm Carson from the Dewey Island Conservancy again. Today we are going to be making Oobleck. And if you've never heard of Oobleck, you might have made it and it might have been called magic mud or something else. But it's basically a super easy slime that just has two ingredients, cornstarch and water. If you want to get fancy and add some food coloring, I always think it adds some extra fun, but you definitely don't need it. So let's go ahead and get started. So what you're going to need is 1.5 parts cornstarch and 1 part water. And it might not be exact when you start it off, but it's easy. It's a good starting place. So I've got my pre-measured out cornstarch. I've got 1.5 cups. And again, you don't have to use that much. Just stick to about 1.5 parts. And I've got 1 cup water. So I'm going to add my water. Awesome. Move this stuff out of the way. And then the thing about Oobleck is it's a non-Newtonian fluid, and I'm going to get into what that means in just a minute, but it basically means it's really hard to stir with a spoon or a fork or something, so we're just going to use our hands and get really messy today. I'm going to wait to add the food coloring for just a second, but I'm going to go ahead and start mixing it up. You're going to notice that it's really clumpy and hard to mix, and that's the idea. So just keep mixing, use your hands best you can. And mine looks a little liquidy, so I'm gonna have to add a little bit more cornstarch, I think. So I got my container. Try and not make too much of a mess. All right, so you'll know it's the right consistency when you go to pick it up in your fingers and it runs through, but if you go to make a ball, it sticks together. So mine's not quite ready, so I need a little bit more cornstarch, so we're gonna add just a little bit more. And we're gonna mix it in nice and good. Now you can see it's really starting to take form. I can pick it up and hold it and make a ball with it, and it doesn't run through my fingers. But if I stop moving, it'll completely drain out. All right, now for the food coloring, right? Because who doesn't love some extra color? We're gonna add just a little bit, not too much. Be careful if you add food coloring, it might stain your hand because you're not mixing with a fork or a spoon, but hey, it's a little extra messy, a little extra fun, right? All right, so like I said before, you'll know it's the right consistency when you go to drag your finger across it and it tears. So I'm not sure if you can see that real well, but mine tears as I drag my finger across it. And it's supposed to feel a little bit like honey when it runs through your fingers. So let's go back to what Oobleck is about. So Oobleck is a non-Newtonian liquid. And in order to know what that means, we need to know what a Newtonian liquid is. A Newtonian liquid is something that has the properties that change as temperature changes. So let's take honey, for example. If honey has been sitting out in the cold for a while, it's super viscous and it doesn't move a whole lot and it's super thick. But if you were to put that same honey in the microwave and heat it up for a little bit, it would become super runny and less viscous. So its properties changed with the temperature. Oobleck is not like that. It is a non-Newtonian liquid. So it means that its properties change when pressure is applied to it. So if we look at this liquid, and you've got yours mixed up in front of you too, right? So you're gonna take your liquid, give it a punch, see what happens. Nothing happens. My fingers sit right on top, doesn't stick to my hand at all. I'm not hitting the bowl, I'm hitting the top of the Oobleck. But if I were to pick this up and let it run through my fingers, it's a complete liquid. It's not hard at all. So why is that? It's because I'm changing the pressure around it. All right, so let's do another thing. Let's pick it up, make a ball. Got a ball, gotta move quick. So you've got your ball made. It stays together pretty well, right? And that's because you're applying pressure to it to stay in the ball form. But if you stop moving and just let it drain through your fingers, there's no more pressure being exerted on it, and it becomes a liquid again. So pretty neat. I could sit here and play with this all day. I'm sure you will too. Just make sure that you guys, when you go to throw this out, put a ton of water in it, mix it out little bit by little bit. You don't want to make chunks of this stuck in your drain pipes. So you want to add lots and lots of water and make it super liquidy before you dump it down the water or the sink, okay? All right. Hope you guys learned something about Oobleck and got just a little bit messy. All right. See you guys next week. Bye.